Hello everyone, I'm Joey Seeley, owner of Emotion Engineering. Today we're going to talk about strut tower failures and trying to avoid them. We developed a strut tower reinforcement kit that doubles as a strut tower bar for added chassis rigidity. So it's a win-win situation. We'll talk and show some pictures about the strut tower failures that typically, from our experience, is the stock spring rates are too light. You hit a curb or go over an FIA curb and into a pothole, bottoms out the shock and forces the shock through the tower, which is pretty costly to repair. So we developed a kit to help prevent that. That took basically a page out of Porsche's book with the Cup car and the GT4 RS Club Sport. That is a cap for the tower that ties into the roll cage. We've taken it a step further and attached it in 3 more locations. That is just bolt-in, fairly easy to install. No modifications permanently to the car. A little bit of trimming to the plastics to make it sit nice and flat. You know, the battery tray back on. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Let's take a look at the parts. So what you can see here, probably easily identifiable, is the strut tower caps themselves. So the slots here are the camber adjustment on the top of the tower. This is the tab in the back here that ties down to where the factory roll cage is. So if you think about that, preventing the tower from moving upward, one piece is pretty good. This goes down to the other side, which is the front of the car, or the front of the tower. So now we're tied down in 2 places. Third place is to the factory strut brace that goes to the bulkhead, diagonally underneath the windshield. And this boss here is what we use to tie in the bar itself. The bar conveniently is shaped to go around most of the components that exist in the car. Right here is where the cap is for the brake reservoir. So these struts, or pylons, however you want to refer to them, are what ties this bar down to the frame rail. This is the other pylon that is on the back side of the cap here. This is where the factory roll cage would be. We don't have a roll cage, so we don't need to use that. This here is just a little relocation tab to move the windshield washer reservoir filler back a little bit to make room for this whole kit. This side has a longer bolt and a little spacer because here, this is the factory strut tower brace but holds the windshield wiper motor. So to make them identical side to side, they are literally mirror images of each other. There's no windshield wiper motor on the passenger side, so this little spacer would take place of that. That's about it. Pretty straightforward. Let's take a look at the car. All right, well, we got a little bit of a head start. Not important. We removed the plastic trays. We have the KW B4 damper kit in the front. We've been asked many times about whether or not the adjustments from the factory remain, which they do. I showed you the slots in the reinforcements. They match up with the slots here and the opening here. So we are not hindering any amount of adjustability from the factory or aftermarket parts. Any camber plate, whether you need them or not, that's a different topic altogether, but any camber plate will work, and any canister, if it comes out through the top of the shock for an inverted damper, can go through the tower, which can go through our reinforcement. What we'll need to do is obviously take the plastics off. You have to unbolt the fender liners so that we can gain access to the back side of the tower to install our hardware. You can install the bar with these installed, but then you'd have to remove the bar to gain access. So we just move them. We get them out of here. You can put them in a duffel bag. Really, it's just, there's no sense in having it in the car, especially if you're going to the track. But a duffel bag in the front for your center lock tool and your pump. So we're going to start there and remove these pieces and then start to show you a little bit more of what this looks like disassembled and how we're going to assemble this. All right, we're going to start with removing the unnecessary stuff, or the stuff that we find to be in the way. Like we said, they can be left, but we're not going to do that. Using a T20 Torx, there's 3 pieces of hardware for the pump, the compressor. Same size hardware for the top side of the center lock. And then an E10, that's a 10 millimeter triple square that takes the other side off, which will be the same location that we put our pylon. Next, we'll need to get into the pollen filter air box. So just easily remove the lid. It just has a few tabs that you can click by hand. And the air cleaner just slides out. Okay, now everything's out of the way that we need out of the way. And it's time to start doing the installation. We're gonna support both sides of the strut because we need to unbolt it, but we don't want it to fall out. And we can actually mark it to at least keep an eye on preventing the shock tower from moving. So hopefully, if you do it right, you don't need to realign it. It's safer to realign it just to make sure you haven't had any unwanted movement, but we're gonna try to prevent that. We're just putting a little bit of tension underneath the lower control arm where the tension arm bolts up. We're gonna do that on both sides. We're gonna put just enough tension on it to compress the tender spring. That way we know we're putting a little bit of load on the shock tower itself. All right, I mentioned we need to do a little bit of trimming. This is probably the most important one. This little lip on the box that seals off the lid needs to be trimmed down to accept the tab so we can tie our cap into the stock strut tower reinforcement. So I'm gonna use some shears and a razor blade, and we're just gonna nip the corners. That should do it. All right, the next is to put these in first, just because they go underneath the cap. This occasionally, depending on the car, requires a little bit of clearing of the seam sealer. We've machined a little bit of a relief in there, so hopefully you won't need to do that, but uses the nut on the bottom side once you move the fender liner out of place. All right, you want to leave all the hardware loose, get it snug by hand, but you want it to be moving freely until we're completely done with the entire install. Next is the plate. Now the aluminum spacer. Next is the M8 hardware. The bolt will be installed from the inside of the shock tower. It's a little bit of encouragement just because it is a very tight and positive fit. We don't want any slack because therefore, you know, if there was slack and tolerances, it would not be very strong. So we'll show you this side first because you get a clear view, but these pylons thread straight into the battery tray holder. There's a bar that goes from the frame rail, which is right here. And then this bar goes straight across the other side. So this is a very, very solid and strong mounting point. This is in the same location on the other side. We'll try to show you, but it's inside the box. And there's a vacuum line that we just have to shove out of the way a little bit. So that big vacuum line there, or breather line, is in the way of our boss. Finger tight, but snug. All right, we've already unbolted this, but you can see here the piece of hardware that holds the windshield washer filler, which we need to get out of the way to gain access to the hardware, but also we need to relocate it. So right here, we'll be taking that out. This you'll be using a T27 Torx. Now we've got it out of the way, we have access to our hardware location. This has got a bunch of seam sealer built up in the way, so we're gonna have to trim that. You can use a knife, a razor blade, a sharp chisel. It's pretty easy by hand to get some of that excess out of the way. So now we've got a nice fit there. We're ready to go. Now we just install this relocation bracket on top of it, sandwiches in there. All right, well now it's all snug and ready for the bar to be installed. We've supplied 4 countersunk pieces of hardware that require a Torx to install. Now that all the hardware has been installed and loosely, now we can tighten down the towers, checking to see if the strut taps have slipped, which they have not. So we start there and tighten that down. Now that the strut tower reinforcement caps are tight in place, the bar is not, but we're going to leave that loose because we now want to tighten up these pylons. Now we can take the bar out and mark for trimming the lid to the pollen filter box. To mark the lid for drilling out this pylon, we used an M8 bolt just cut it down and made it sharp. So thread it in with your fingers. You can make one at home. And then we'll install the lid and punch it so it leaves a little mark. There you have it. Probably have a little dimple there that we can drill a pilot hole, cut this rib out of place here, and then do a hole saw. The filter fits appropriately in the bottom guides. It does not in the front because we're taking place of where it used to sit with the rod, but it's fine. It will sit in place and filter as we need it to. All right, now that the hole is drilled and we've trimmed the rib out of place, we can put the cap back on. Now the lid's back installed. You can see the pylon poking through. We're good to put the bar back on. Okay, now you should probably go through and check all the hardware and paint mark it as necessary so you're ensured that it's all tight and you're good to go. As you can see, it installs nicely without any trimming. There's a slight bulge to it, it's not a big deal. You can trim it if you like. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but it goes back in place and looks nice and hood closes as it should. We're ready to rock. Wait, we're not done yet. We have an update for you. It's been brought to our attention. We haven't seen it ourselves, but even without a strut tower failure, these aluminum towers are moving. We had a customer or a shop, installed one perfectly. The second one wouldn't install. There was a difference in the strut towers of 4 millimeters each side. So we discovered it wasn't the bar or updates to the bar because he put the one that didn't fit into the car that it did fit. So we went back and made a design change and put a slot at the top of the strut tower, and we'll show you on this car right here. Okay, so as I was saying, the tower is being a little more narrow and there is no give in our plates, which is by design. We wanted as positive of a mount as possible. And the bar just wouldn't fit because we had a very specific countersunk location. Now right here, we have machined in a slot and still recessed the cap head bolt. So any variations from car to car, we now have an answer for it. Also, because we don't see many Carreras, the Carrera in this case doesn't have the provision for the threaded boss in the battery support beam, which is where we install our long stanchion. So we just installed the bolt on this case. We will look into, and maybe you should too, putting in one of the GT3 supports that has it. It's probably not very expensive. Maybe a little bit of a pain to bolt it in, but this is still functional. It's not tied in one more place, which we like to have, but this being tied in 4 locations and holding your tower down is still very, very effective. This customer also chose to leave the pump in place. So the bar will fit with the pump in place. It will just require that you take the bar off in order to get to your pump, but it is what it is. So there you have it. We'll keep making adjustments as needed, but there's a lot of happy people out there. The biggest response is that the car's steering response is very improved, which makes sense. We all know how strut towers can push and pull. Now that we've tied them in, it's going to be a lot more responsive.